Hello developers, Forlorn You here. I probably don't need to tell you what's been going on with Unity recently. The community has been in an absolute uproar. People are jumping ship, and it seems that the Unity game engine is done for. If you spend any amount of time reading comments, reading posts, Twitter, or watching YouTube videos on Unity right now, it can feel like everything is crumbling right under our feet. The first signs of trouble were really when they hired Ricky Tello, a former EA CEO who only knows money and profit. Then came the controversial merger with ironSource. Now we have this pricing update. As horrible and damaging as it is, there is some evidence it might in fact just be a slimy plan to force developers into paying for Unity Pro, and to gain leverage over developers to kill popular competitor AppLovin, where Unity would waive certain fees when using their services as opposed to AppLovin's, which is probably very illegal. Objection! Countless numbers of developers have come out in opposition against this. Articles have been written, and the pressure is on Unity to change their plans. For many, it's not just the pricing plan itself, it's the broken trust, backstabbing, and the fact that they could change the pricing again in the future to be even worse and more devious. It's a mess. So where will you find yourself in this? Are you developing a project in Unity right now? Perhaps you're years into a project and feel betrayed by Unity. In that case, I feel for you. It's a rough spot to be in, and there may be no great alternatives. I'm not gonna try and tell you what to do. Many have lost all trust in the management of the company and are never going to return. But I want to say, don't panic, there are options. Unity won't close down immediately. The engine won't suddenly lose support. For the investors, this is just a bump in the road, barely noticeable. The stock hasn't moved like you might expect, so Unity will still exist. They'll probably make some changes and keep going like nothing's really happened. The collapse isn't happening now, even though recent events are sending shockwaves throughout the community, and developers everywhere are feeling the effects. People's livelihoods are at stake. The company and the product itself will still be around for some time, probably for many years to come. It's going to be a slow burn. Regardless of what you want to do, I would always suggest to try new things. Expand. Don't be afraid of change. You don't have to switch. You don't have to stay. You can expand. A game engine is really just a tool. The programming language itself is really just a tool. Complicated, sure, but as developers, we shouldn't rely on a single tool. Our goal should be to equip ourselves with the best ones for the job ahead of us. Find the right tool. Don't just rely on Unity. Don't rely on a single company at all, because all companies can be scummy. As a solo developer, if you're hoping on getting a job in the future of game development, having lots of projects in different engines and multiple languages is surely more attractive to a potential employer. Try Unreal for a week. Play around with the editor and the blueprints and the language, and see how much you can learn, and if you like it or not. Try Godot. It's very similar to Unity. More than you might think before you've tried it. Personally, I've used it a couple of times, but I never really stayed. But I think that's where I'm going now. The Stride game engine might be for you. Maybe GameMaker if you're exclusively doing 2D. There are in fact lots of game engines out there, many of which you might have not even heard of. There are many possibilities and opportunities out there. Personally, I am expanding into Godot, at least for now. I've used Unity for many years. I learned C# by trial and error in this very game engine. Yet I have no financial stake in it. I work a full-time job and I'm not bound to it. I feel for those whose jobs and livelihoods are in jeopardy now. For me, as long as there is an audience and a community, I will not leave, but I will expand and make other content as well. I wish you the best in these trying times. Happy coding, everyone.